David Goodhart, The Road to Somewhere, The New Tribes Shaping British Politics. Dive into the intriguing world of The Road to Somewhere, The New Tribes Shaping British Politics by David Goodhart, where the outdated concepts of a left and a right are replaced by a fresh perspective, the anywhere and somewhere people. While anywhere people thrive on globalization and embrace change, somewhere people face the consequences of disrupted labor markets and diminishing status. This book explores their diverging mentalities, how this division impacts politics, and offers insight into the surprising election of Donald Trump and the Brexit vote. Expect a profound journey into the contemporary political landscape, discussing factors like immigration, cultural and societal changes, and the often overlooked voices of somewhere people.
Anywhere versus somewhere, a new political divide. The election of Trump and Brexit highlighted the inadequacy of left-right labels to explain the political landscape. Instead, anywhere and somewhere divide societies. Anywheres, a minority of around 20 to 25%, are highly educated globalists who define themselves by their achievements and career. They celebrate escape from community constraints and are positive towards globalization. In contrast, somewheres, who make up around 50% of the population, are more likely to stay in their hometown, have lower educational qualifications, and identify with family roles and local identity. They fear change, are pessimistic about globalization and mass immigration, and feel threatened by changes in labor markets and community status. The author presents this categorization as a framework for understanding the current political climate and promotes a more inclusive liberalism for anywheres to better appreciate the concerns of somewheres. The forgotten people. The rise of populism in recent years reflects the somewhere mentality, where people feel a sense of loss and being left behind. Somewhere people value loyalty to their in-group and sacred concepts, tend to be socially conservative and communitarian, and are not necessarily intolerant but feel a loss of their values and similarity in their communities. More progressive attitudes toward sexuality, family structures, and openness to different cultures have eroded traditional norms, and the market liberalization has left somewhere unskilled or semi-skilled working men feeling disadvantaged. Integration and a common in-group identity, rather than just preaching tolerance, can help improve society. The shift of the political left. The political left has become more globalized in their outlook and priorities, neglecting the somewhere voter who feels left behind. The ideology of progressivism has led to a belief in transcending exclusive communities, including the nation-state. However, national institutions still hold enormous importance today. The left has also shifted its focus from economic issues to social causes such as feminism, environmentalism, and rights for minorities, immigrants, and LGBT people, as well as university education access. The left's emphasis on globalization has led to overreach, causing the rise of populism. This is evidenced by NAFTA's passage despite mass opposition, which left a gap for Trump to exploit. To address the causes of populism, the left needs to be tough on anywhere overreach and mindful of the needs of the somewhere voter. The rise of somewhere voters. The book highlights how the working-class somewhere voters felt abandoned by the anywhere elites who favored the rich. The 2008 financial crisis further fueled the rebellion of the somewhere voters, leading to a rejection of anywhere liberalism. Social media also played a role in bypassing elite filters and producing unexpected election results. The book challenges anywhere thinking that stereotyped somewhere voters as racist or ill-informed and emphasizes the underlying decency of their ideas. The Brexit campaign revealed that people were willing to trade economic gain for political agency. The highly educated and mobile elites in rich countries seem to have weaker national identity. The book warns that liberal elites may be less enthusiastic about democracy after the rise of populism. The book also exposes how elites can use the label populist to discount or ignore strong signals from voters. Immigration and the anywhere-somewhere divide. Immigration is a contentious issue in the UK and highlights a division between the anywhere and somewhere mindsets. While the majority of somewhere voters do not hold hostile attitudes towards individual immigrants, they want to keep the inflows of immigration at a manageable level that allows for cultural assimilation. On the other hand, the highly educated and global elites see immigration as a positive force that helps those in need and can share the prosperity of the developed world. However, prolonging mass immigration with its threat of loss to somewhere communities could engender greater intolerance and anger. It's worth considering if slowing down the pace of change and instilling unity would be a more sensible approach. The UK government could offer more spending and support for refugee camps, adjacent nations, and the weak in their regions instead of allowing massive inflows of economic migrants through chaotic Libya. Immigration can be a divisive topic. Polls reveal that approximately 75% of the UK population, including over 50% of ethnic minority citizens, believe that immigration is too high. Immigration is one of the key issues that most starkly define the difference between the anywhere and somewhere mentalities. The majority of somewheres are respectful toward individual immigrants. However, they do not want to live in a mass immigration environment or compete for low-paying jobs. Ideally, they would like to keep inflows to levels that allow people to be absorbed into the nation's cultural life. Many somewhere people hold progressive views about charity, helping unfortunate people abroad, and supporting refugees. Still, they believe their duties and loyalties apply first and foremost to their family and neighbors, followed by their communities, then other countries, and finally humankind at large. The anywheres on the other hand hold a completely different view. People with the most extreme anywhere views, typically the highly educated and creative elites, classify themselves as global villagers. They primarily view themselves as citizens of Earth with nationality being secondary. Anywhere elites consider immigration to be a favorable force that helps the needy and shares the prosperity of the developed world. To them, enlightened people would place helping poor migrants above protecting slightly disadvantaged British workers. However, it is worth considering that prolonging mass immigration could aggravate intolerance and anger among somewhere communities. Is it more appropriate to constrain the pace of change or hurry cultural and economic turmoil that's too fast to accept? Moreover, immigration must be viewed in the broader context of its advantages and disadvantages. As people in poorer nations become richer, more have the opportunity to emigrate. Additionally, the current course of immigration to Europe through chaotic Libya favors the most daring economic migrants, not the most vulnerable or those in need of political asylum. In conclusion, the UK's government should prioritize supporting refugee camps and adjacent nations in developing their poor regions instead of allowing an uncontrolled influx of economic migrants. This would restrict mass migration threats of loss to somewhere communities that could spark anger and intolerance while promoting unity. The impact of anywhere on somewhere and society. The book addresses the challenges facing the working class somewhere people and their central role in British society. The husband's role as a breadwinner has been invalidated due to government efforts to reduce child poverty and support single mothers. Consequently, the traditional family structure, featuring a single-earner father and a stay-at-home mother, is negatively affected. In contrast, Anywhere is designed to support middle-class career women who seek to go back to work and establish diverse family structures. This has increased the social and economic inequality gaps, causing a new division in the society. The government's Anywhere bias has promoted university education over vocational training, increasing the number of graduates in jobs that do not require a degree. This is happening while there is a significant skills shortage in certain areas like construction and digital sectors. Large firms are hiring Eastern Europeans instead of offering apprenticeships, further perpetuating the social and economic inequalities. The book argues that society should adopt a new approach to lower-level jobs, valuing everyone's contribution equally. Finally, the book highlights the recent cleavage in society used by politicians to divide people, which is based on education level. Harmony and cohesion will only be possible by promoting sane globalization and taking a slower pace of change towards a more fair and just society.
As The Road to Somewhere elucidates the complex division between the anywhere and somewhere people, it uncovers how this rift has deeply influenced the political world. Central themes underscore the effects of globalization, mass immigration, and cultural upheavals on the somewhere people, often leading to a sense of loss and resentment. The book underscores a significant chasm between these groups and the political elite, making it vital for modern society to re-evaluate political priorities, integrate diverse perspectives, and seek a balance between change and stability. It is a powerful call to create policies and governance that are attentive to the needs and concerns of both anywhere and somewhere people, fostering a cohesive and harmonious society.